Hello there, everybody. My name is Jonah Rosenblum, and I'm the sports editor of the Daily Northwestern. I'm joined here tonight by football beat writers Josh Walfish and Colin Becht. Another weekend of college football coming up, and another much-needed opportunity for a win for the Northwestern Wildcats. They've lost 5 straight, and they could really use a victory against the Indiana Hoosiers this weekend. So they travel to Bloomington, and they have a foe that's really struggled this year. The Hoosiers are just 1-7. So a matchup of teams that, well, both could really use a win and could use some momentum. I'll start with you, Josh. The Northwestern offense, we've talked about it all season. They're hot, they're cold. You see, 1 second Persis completing passes, Coulter's running all over the field, the rush attack is working up the middle, and then suddenly it's all gone, and just nothing's working. And my question for you is, does any of this even matter? All this talk about a hot and cold offense, does it even matter when you're playing a defense as atrocious as Indiana's? I mean, Indiana, the Hoosiers have given up 145 points in the last 3 weeks. This is a pathetic defense. So, will Northwestern have any trouble?
If you look at what Indiana brings to the table, no. On paper, Northwestern should not have any trouble. The issue is Northwestern keeps beating themselves offensively. Penn State, Illinois, Michigan, it's not as though those defenses really did anything out of the ordinary or anything different than they did in the first half to really stop Northwestern. Northwestern just kind of stopped themselves. You look last week, Ebert dropped 2 passes, Schmidt dropped the pass. So if Northwestern doesn't beat themselves, they should be able to run right over this Indiana defense.
And of course, something that really handicapped the Wildcats last weekend is when Dan Persa exited the game. And it turned out that Persa had turf toe, and he skipped practice on Tuesday. He had to miss out, and then he came back on Wednesday. And so I guess I have 2 questions for you, Colin. One, what's Dan Persa's status? Is he 100%? And then, I guess now we're on question number 3. But question number 3 is, can Dan Persa even stay in an entire game? Can he play 60 minutes? Because we've seen multiple times this season he's left with nicks and bruises. What's his status?
Well, I think the important thing to keep in mind here is that this injury is completely unrelated to his Achilles injury. It's his other foot. It's not anything related to tendons. It's just sort of an unfortunate sort of freak accident when he got ankle tackled last week. His status is he's supposed to play. He practiced Wednesday. He looked fine. Basically the only thing is it's a matter of pain. This isn't any sort of serious long-term effects. It's just a matter of can he play through the pain. And one thing you can't question with Persa is his toughness. So I expect him to play, and barring some new injury, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't play as much as he has in the past.
And it'll be interesting with Northwestern already having 5 losses. Will Coach Pat Fitzgerald be willing to take some risks? He's been very cautious with Persa in the past. The second he gets nicked up, he takes Persa out. But at this point, they really need Persa on the field. Josh, let's talk a little bit on the other side of the ball. The Northwestern defense really put up a spectacular performance in the second half against Penn State. They gave up just a touchdown, and that touchdown was really, that wasn't the defense's fault. It was a bad luck turnover by Persa, and then Silas Red runs it in from 19 yards out. So the question is, was that a fine performance by the defense? Was that the Northwestern defense making progress, or was that just a fluke?
I think that was the Northwestern defense making progress. You look at the first half, they almost gave up 300 yards to a really bad Penn State offense, and that's, I guess, putting it mildly. But in the second half, they kind of looked like a defense playing against Penn State's offense. So I really think that they made progress. Game Day editor Robbie Levine wrote a very good column on kind of explaining why Northwestern is unable to play good defense for most of the season. He talked about just kind of Northwestern's defense overthinking, and so that in that second half against Penn State, they stopped thinking and just went out there and played. So if Northwestern can just kind of, I know this is going to sound weird, but stop thinking about what they're doing and actually just go out there and play, I think they'll be a much better defense and should be able to stop Indiana's offense.
And staying on the mental aspect of the game, let's talk a little bit about this Indiana-Northwestern matchup. Obviously, there's a risk here of the Wildcats getting a little confident. Obviously they have dominated the recent matchup with the Hoosiers. It's really the only team in the Big Ten that they have a winning record against, and they've won 10 out of their last 13 matchups with Indiana. But at the same time, they've been close. The last 4 matchups have been incredibly close. Indiana actually upset them a couple of years ago, 21-19, when NU was heavily favored. So I guess the question is, what's the danger of underestimating Indiana? And is this going to be another close game in this rivalry?
Well, right now, Northwestern really shouldn't be underestimating anybody. They've dropped 5 straight. They need every win they can get just to have any chance at making a bowl. So there's no point in looking ahead to Nebraska if you can't beat Indiana. And as you said, this series has a tendency of having close games. Yes, Northwestern's had some success recently, but of the past 4 games, they've all been decided by a field goal or less. So there's no reason to expect that Northwestern would just blow out Indiana, because they just don't have that track record against Indiana. And so if they want to get to 6 wins, this is a game that they pretty much must win. Any dream of bowl game absolutely dies if they lose to Indiana. So certainly don't want to get caught looking ahead to Nebraska.
And last season's contest was another close one, a 2017 victory for the Wildcats in Bloomington. And you mentioned, obviously, how important this game is. Northwestern really needs a win. Wildcats basically living on a prayer at this point. They don't have many more chances. So my question is, Josh, let's get to picks. Will Evanston's prayers be answered on Saturday?
I've been kind of waffling on this pick all week. I'm going to say no. I think Indiana wins this game 20-24. And it's got nothing to do with how good Indiana is. It's just Northwestern's kind of having those 1 or 2 bounces go against them. And on the road with the team losing 5 straight, I don't know if those bounces will go Northwestern's way.
All right, waffling a little bit like John Kerry circa 2004 or Mitt Romney for those of you Occupy Evanston people out there. Now, Colin, what about your pick?
I'm picking Northwestern this week. I have yet to pick Northwestern on any of these roundtables we've done, but I'll take the Cats this week. Indiana's a weaker foe than they faced so far. They get the win. It won't be pretty, and it won't be easy. It'll definitely take some nail biting, but they pull it out 35-28.
Guys, both of you are just spending way too much thought. You're spending way too much thought into this game. This is the easiest game we've had to pick all season. And I didn't put any work into it, I will tell you that much. I actually just got drunk last night. I thought about the game for like 5 seconds in between drinks, and I made my choice. It's an easy choice, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Northwestern Wildcats that are coming away with the victory. And you know why? It's because Dan Persa and Kane Coulter are too good for this Indiana defense. The Hoosiers will be absolutely helpless. No chance. The Northwestern Wildcats win 45-17. Counted 45-17, and the Wildcats defense, for that matter, will be much improved. But wait. There's more, ladies and gentlemen. There's more. I feel like Billy Mays. There's also going to be a victory for the North Carolina Tar Heels. They're going to beat the Wake Forest. Oh, it's going to beat Wake Forest. It's going to be an easy win. And finally, the North Carolina Tar Heels will be on the right side of an ACC conference game. So with that being said, I guess that wraps it up for this Thursday night's festivities. I'm Jonah Rosenblum, joined here by Josh Walfish and Colin Becht. And please tune in. We're on Twitter. Follow us at The Daily Sports. And also, please check www.dailynorthwestern.com for all of our live coverage from Bloomington, Indiana. I'm Jonah Rosenblum, once again, for my colleagues here. Have a great night.